Hey everyone, it's Jessie Kessel here, owner of Machete Marketing, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to thrive during slow season, which is about this time of year for my automotive people. December is all about the holidays and shopping, and then it kind of dies off until about maybe March or so, springtime. So what do you do in the meantime? I mean, you can't sit idle and just kind of wait around twiddling your thumbs. There's got to be something that you can do to drum up business, because as we all know, we have monthly targets and we want to reach them to get our bonuses. And hey, if you're in sales, you're trying to make a living here. So it doesn't matter the time of day, the time of month, or the time of year, we still got to hustle. So hence why I am talking to you guys today about, some tips on how you can thrive during the slow time. So before I get started, I'm just going to start with a story, because I woke up this morning, I was kind of tired. I have two young kids who love to wake me up through the night and early in the morning. So I kind of took my time getting ready in the morning and wasn't in, a huge rush. And I got my kids ready, was going to go drop them off at school, and we just had a big snowstorm here. So the roads are a little bit slippery, and before my husband left for work today, I warned him to be super careful, because I know he loves to speed. And to really take it easy and to take his time and to be careful. Kissed him goodbye, and off he went. And I went to go drop the kids off at school. So here we are going to school, and their school happens to be, like, the entrance to the school happens to be just at the bottom of a hill. So I'm driving and stuff and, talking to my kids, and I go to slow down, and my car is not slowing down. It's actually getting faster, and I'm trying to turn in to their school. And when you reach that moment where it's like things start to happen in slow motion, because there's no turning back at this point. So that's basically what happened to me. I turned to go into the school, and I ended up actually going towards the curb sideways, and I thought, holy crap, what's about to happen here? I knew there was no way I was gonna make this turn smoothly. So we ended up hitting the curve and going up and on the curve, and her entire class happened to be outside at recess. So yeah, this is actually how late I dropped her off this morning. And I'm terrified. All her teachers saw what happened. I have two kids in the back going, woo, fishtail. And I'm screaming in horror. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, how do my kids know what fishtailing is? And apparently this is what my husband does with them in the car all the time. So now I know his little secret. But anyways, hence it's a slower time of year. I kind of took my time, getting ready this morning, and that's what happened to me. So I got to be more careful. So getting back to the original topic of how to thrive during the slow season. So the very first thing is, and I wish I would have gotten this advice earlier on when I started my business, is to not blow all the money that you have. And now, granted, I didn't blow all the money I had, but I didn't exactly put everything into savings. When you get money in, sometimes more money, more problems, and you start spending it in ways that maybe you shouldn't. So I think the very first thing is that if we know, throughout the year, there are going to be slow times during the year, then keep that in mind and maybe put money aside for when it gets really slow. So you're not going to have so much pressure on your shoulders to be desperate and perform, and maybe make mistakes because out of desperation, you need to make a sale. So not having that pressure during the slow time really, really helps. So don't blow all your money throughout the year. Try and save some for when it slows down. The second thing is keep momentum. You don't want to lose momentum because it takes so much effort and energy to get things going. And once you're on a roll, you don't want to stop that momentum because it takes so much time to go from zero to getting that wheel spinning. It just feels so much heavier when you're, when it's stopped, versus when you're kind of already on the move, right? So keep that momentum for yourself. Keep hungry, and lead by example, because there are people around you that are looking to, for your energy, especially your colleagues, and even your managers and stuff. I mean, everybody tends to get down. Everyone has pressure on them, so try your best to, keep your spirit up and not let yourself, like I did this morning, kind of just drag yourself to work and wake up late. Keep that hustle going, and don't be lazy, because it's so easy to fall out of these routines that you have going on. So keep it going, even if it's slow. Keep your routines going. The third thing is keep an open mind. I mean, me as a business owner, and any GM could probably attest to this, or owner, is that you get inundated with so many phone calls from companies and reps trying to sell you their product or their service. And it is so easy and tempting, especially when like the air duct cleaners call, to just hang up, right? And you're not going to believe this, but I actually do need an air duct cleaning, and I refuse to give these people business, so I'm not doing it. Anyways, it's so easy to just hang up on these people, right? Because you're busy, there's things going on, you have fires to put out. But I say you should take the opportunity when it's slower to say yes. Instead of saying no, I don't need this, no, I don't need that. I mean, you don't know at the pace that technology is moving today and how consumers are changing. I mean, keep an open mind. It doesn't hurt you. At the very, very least, you're going to learn something new. You're going to learn about a new product or service that is being offered out there. And you might even realize that you do need something that they're offering. So keep an open mind and take the time to learn as much as possible from the other people in your industry. The other thing is to brand yourself and your business. Branding is not just about what people think. It's just like a consistent look, like your logo and the colors that you use. Branding is actually more about what people think about your company and how they identify your brand with, their perception of what your company does or what it represents. So if you don't have a strong brand, then you're out of sight and out of mind, right? And the thing is that it's never too late. So even if you've been in business for 20 years, it's never too late to really take a step back and relook at your brand. I feel like it's not something that's always, something that's clear at the very beginning, but it's your brand is something that you develop over time. And so if you've been in business for a while, you should have a very strong, idea as to what your brand is and what you want your community to see your brand as. And then you just need the visuals to go, along with it. You might want to update your logo, you might want to update your website, and if there's inconsistencies with the material that you're sending out and the messaging that you're sending out, just take a look at that again and say, okay, what is the message that our community and our target market is receiving from us based on what we're putting out there, and then just try to make it more of a consistent message and a consistent look, so that it all is very uniform, and that way it's much easier for your audience to really understand what you do and what you stand for. And then that's a really good way for your brand to stick out in people's mind, because it's easy to digest for them versus all these different messages and perhaps colors that you use. Like, keep it consistent. And when it's slow, I mean, that's a great time to really think about and analyze, what it is that you're putting out into the market. The other thing is to take the opportunity to train your team. I hear this all the time: is we don't have time, to train everyone, and then you might hire a trainer that comes in once, every whatever few months, or maybe just once a year. It's not enough. And I mean, I myself, I'm in sales. I always say I'm still a sales rep at heart. But I am constantly self-teaching myself. If somebody wants to learn something, there is not a lack of resources. And it's not something that the dealership necessarily has to pay for, although it's very useful for your team to have a guided, course that they can follow. But if you're a salesperson and your dealership isn't offering that, that is not something that you can use or should use as an excuse. There's so many resources, where you can learn stuff. You can buy books. There is always YouTube. There are webinars. There are low-cost courses. And if you don't know of any, just ask. Ask people around you. Don't use it as a crutch. Oh, my dealership doesn't provide that for us. Like, that would be great, but they don't. Well, go out and get it, right? Go out and self-teach yourself how to become better. Like I said, there's no lack of resources, so just go out and do it. The last thing I'm going to say is to keep social. And by that, I don't mean necessarily advertising, although that's very beneficial to continue to do that, both for branding purposes, but also for sales. But keep social in the sense of, your customers might not necessarily be walking through your door, but they are on Facebook every day. They are probably on LinkedIn. They're probably on Twitter. They're probably on Instagram. And you don't necessarily always have to have, intentions to sell someone. Just get to know them, and you'd be so amazed as to what happens. You start creating more of a following. The more people you engage with, the more you become top of mind to them, and that's how referrals come about, right? And that's how branding yourself and having people recognize you and what you do comes about. So I mean, just because it's slow doesn't mean that you just kind of stop and sit around waiting for people to come in the spring. Continue to use all the free platforms that are available to you to interact with people, and possibly people that may be, your target, and just pay attention and be aware to what people are posting, and try and help people, even if it's not of immediate benefit to you. You'd be amazed at, if you give, if as much as you can give, you will eventually, in a roundabout way, get it back. So I encourage you to continue to keep social. Besides social platforms, keep social, go out for lunch, keep social by maybe talking to that client that you haven't talked to in a while. Continue to be as much in people's faces as possible, so that you don't become someone that's, they once knew. You have to consistently be in front of them in some way. And the more in front of them you can be, the better it's going to be for you when the time comes that they need you, right? So I think those are my tips for how to not let yourself slow down as the industry starts and sales start to slow down. One more thing, which is a huge one actually, is to create content. Creating content is a way that people can recognize you. It's a way for the internet to lead people to you, and content gives you the ability to speak your truth, have a message to put out to the world. It will also make you more of an expert in your field. And it gives other people like a way to engage with you. If you post something that they like, or that they find funny, or that they find informative, they're way more likely to engage with it by liking it, commenting, sharing it. And that's how you start to spread your message. Without putting anything out there, you will not get anything back in return. And the more you put out, the more you get back. So consistently doing that, and maybe setting yourself up, with creating a lot of content at once when it's really slow, and putting it out slowly, so you're not having writer's block and kind of thinking every week, oh, what am I going to write about today? Start putting it together now, for when you are busy. You can have a library full of content, which it could include images, quotes, blogs, all sorts of things. And a trick that we use that works really well is that we write out topics of what we want to talk about, and we write a blog about it, but then we'll take that blog and we'll turn it into a podcast. And then we'll also turn that into post on our social media, which then links to the blog or links to the podcast, which we put on YouTube, or I can create a video talking about the same subject. So take that piece of content and duplicate it on as many different platforms as you can, giving yourself a lot of content to put out there. So those are my tips. Keep warm, everyone. If you like this podcast, you can listen to more on our YouTube channel at Machete Marketing, and you can subscribe to watch our videos, to listen to more podcasts, and you can also go over to our Facebook page at Machete Marketing and follow us. We post a lot of cool tips on there, and we do some contests, giveaways as well. So take care, everyone, and I will speak to you guys again soon.